Hello everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, I am Molly and I do book content here on YouTube. And I am here with a tag. I was tagged in it ages ago. I've also technically already done this, but I was hoping to maybe have different books. I can't remember what I wrote. Well, not what I wrote, what I picked, but for these prompts. But I think there may be maybe one or two books that are repeated, but I could be wrong, but that's fine. Most of them are pretty, I'm pretty sure they are different books. Apologies if not. So today I am doing the coffee and book tag. I was tagged in this by Kelley from Bookish Kelley, and yeah, thank you for tagging me, Kelley. I am cheating a bit though with the coffee part. Those of you who are regular, you all know I do drink my coffee. I like my coffee, but I don't have coffee today. I know the irony. I do have green tea, so there is still caffeine. So I say it kind of counts. There's even, prompts for like decaf and other drinks like hot chocolate. So I think I can get away with it. Either way, let's be honest, it's all mainly about the books, not really the drink. So yeah, I apologise. Well, I better get into it. I don't really need to preamble very much. So, there are 8 questions / prompts, I guess. So yeah, let's do it. So the first one is black, like black coffee. Name a series that's tough to get into but has hardcore fans. And this is one of the ones that I think I may have already done, but I could be wrong. I picked The Hobbit, but I mean like the whole Lord of the Rings series, like this book and Lord of the Rings specifically, because I find J.R.R. Tolkien quite tough, because I know certainly with Lord of the Rings, he is very descriptive. They're big books, those ones. This one's not bad, but that kind of scares me, because even though I do like my descriptive sort of language in books, sometimes I can get bogged down with it, and that's why I picked this series as a tough one, because it does have hardcore fans, especially in the Christian community, but also not. Lots of non-Christians love this series as well. But yeah, I picked this one. Still haven't read The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings. Seen all the films though, but most people probably have. Question 2 is Peppermint Mocha, and this question is name a book that gets more popular during the winter / festive time. And technically I have a couple of books in my list here that would fit this prompt, but I decided to go with one that's less classic, because one of them is a classic, Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, but I'm using that for something else, spoiler. But so the book that I picked is one that is definitely more popular in the winter / Christmas specifically sort of time, certainly in the Christian community or people who read clean, because I picked up A Holiday by Gaslight by Mimi Matthews. As you can tell by the cover and the title, it is set in the winter / Christmas time. So it is, and I know I have heard people talk about this more when we're in that sort of time of year. So I'm going for this one. Maybe not quite as a widespread book in terms of picking a winter Christmassy book, but certainly one for the community I'm part of here on BookTube anyway. The next question is hot chocolate. What is your favourite children's book? And most children's books, I don't have favourites, but there is one I read as an adult, which is a children's book. Certainly the first one anyway. And I think you can all probably guess what it is. The first in the series. It's a classic. And it is, well, it's my Narnia to sort of, I can't talk, I don't know. It's my Narnia, like Narnia is for Morgan, from Morgan's Oh, I've forgotten your handle, Morgan. Sorry, I think it's Morgan's handle book, so I don't know what's with my brain today. But my version of Narnia is Anne of Green Gables by Ella Montgomery / the whole series. For this particular prompt, it's the first book specifically. It's definitely a favourite and a favourite series. Most of you who are regularly watching my videos will know I regularly talk about her. I read the whole series last year. Spoiler, I also reread this first book through audio. Is that a spoiler, or did I put that in my last month's wrap up? I can't remember. Either way, I either spoke about it last month or it's a spoiler for this current month of May's reading. So yeah, Anne of Green Gables, classic, love it, recommend it. Yeah, definitely a favourite. Then question 4 is double shot of espresso, and this prompt question is name a book that kept you on the edge of your seat from start to finish. I knew there was a book I'd forgotten. I forgot to get it out. Hang on. Don't worry, you're the loveliest friend. I have a friend. There she is. That's my beans. I hope you're in the right place now. Nope, a bit high up. Hang on. There you go. So the book for a book that kept me on the edge of my seat, I get quite a few of those because I read a wide range of genres, and a lot of them can include things like sort of exciting or thrilling sort of books. Not necessarily thrillers, although also those, but I do like my sort of gripping sort of books because I like books that keep my attention the majority of the time. Obviously, as we all know, I do read books that aren't quite like that, like Anne of Green Gables, but more often than not. And the book that I'm picking is actually quite a recent one. It won't be the only one, obviously, but it's the most recent one. It's one I've raved about a little bit because obviously it's quite, well, the book itself isn't new, but the popularity around the book is newer because of the film that came out last month. Yeah. And that is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Love this book. It is very sciencey, but on audio is definitely probably better for a lot of people. It was really good for me. I was just on the edge of my seat. It was so exciting and fast paced. I mean, it might be less so if you're reading it physically, depending on what you prefer or your reading capabilities, I guess, is how to say it, in terms of like how slow you are, is what I mean. But yes, this book was definitely one. Loved the audiobook, also loved the film, but that's not the point with this, but yeah. Question 5 is Starbucks. Name a book you see everywhere. And I mean, it kind of varies what I see. I'm not everywhere. I know it doesn't literally mean everywhere, but there are definitely books that are everywhere that I won't be seeing or I don't know about. But one that I do see regularly, and I don't necessarily mean this specific book, just the series in general, but also this specific book. I'm going with the Chronicles of Narnia as a whole, as well as The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. I see this regularly, especially in charity shops or thrift shops, second-hand bookstores, that sort of thing, as well as obviously in your high street bookstores, you know, full-price ones. You'll find Narnia too. So I would say this one, I do see it pretty regularly. There's lots of other books too. A lot of them are like classics or thrillers, but I don't necessarily have those depending on what the book is. Like I see a lot of James Patterson and stuff like that, but yeah, I'm going with Narnia. Question 6 is That Hipster Coffee Shop, and the question is to give a book by an indie author a shout out. Now, I said this in my last one, I don't keep track of who's indie and who isn't. I don't know, and obviously some authors, it kind of comes and goes, if you know what I mean. So like some do a mixture, or they used to be indie and not anymore, or the other way around, stuff like that. So the one I've picked is an author I think could be indie. I know a lot of her books are on KU, and I think a lot of indie authors are also on KU, but I'm not 100% sure, so I do apologise if I am incorrect with this author, but I'm going with Melanie Cellier. This is book 6 in the, which series is this? Beyond the Four Kingdoms series, which is obviously based on the Four Kingdoms series, the original series spin-off. This one is A Princess of Wind and Wave, which is a Little Mermaid retelling. This was my first book, I know, but it's so far ahead it didn't really matter. So you do see like past characters, so obviously you'd get the most out of it, but only really for like the ending, so it didn't really matter that much. And to be honest, because it's such a big series, I'm not going to remember the spoilers. And let's be honest, like with most romance or romance-based books, you kind of know who it's gonna be, who they're gonna end up with anyway. Let's be honest here. So yeah, obviously I'm just picking Melanie Cellier as an author. So let me know if I'm wrong. I think she might be indie, or used to be, or there's a mixture. Let me know. I apologise if I am wrong, but I think she is. I do love her books, so regardless. 7 is Oops, I Accidentally Got Decaf. And the question is, name a book you were expecting more from. I seem to be doubling up unintentionally. Well, either way, okay. So for this question, I am technically doubling up. Didn't mean to. I think I've forgotten what I've been able to find and what I haven't, so there we go. So a book I was expecting more from, I'm sure a lot of you will be kind of surprised, or at least maybe slightly offended. I apologise, but I picked Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. I've only read the first one, and it could change with the series as a whole, but the book on its own, I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars, but with the hype around this book and the love around this book, I didn't get to that point with that book, to that like 5 shit-star sort of feeling about it, sort of like slightly obsessed with it sort of way of thinking. Now, that could just be with this book on its own, and once I read the whole series, I might be like that about the whole series. But with just reading the one book, I didn't really get that sort of feeling. I enjoyed it. It was really good. I had all the emotions, as I always say with most of my books. But yeah, I just didn't get that sort of love for it that I see in a lot of people who love this series. Now that could be subject to change. If I read the whole series, like I said, maybe I'll be like, oh yeah, it's a 5-star series. I don't know. Okay, there is still time. But I did enjoy it. It's just, I was disappointed that I didn't get that level of love for it that I have seen in other people. And that's kind of what I mean. Like the story as a whole, there's nothing disappointing in it particularly. So, yeah. I apologise, all you Narnia lovers. I don't hate it. I don't. I just don't have that little bit, you know. Anyway. Question 8, which is the last question. The perfect blend. Name a book or series that was both bitter and sweet, but ultimately satisfying. So I'm using the first book in this series to kind of represent the series as a whole. There are technically books that have come out since the last book in this series, because they were prequels. But I'm not counting those as the last books, if you know what I mean. Because the prequels are kind of, to me, it doesn't make sense, even though they are the most recent. But I'm going with the Hunger Games series. I think the series with the prequels, it definitely has that mixture of bittersweet. You know, there's a lot of hardships. You do get the happy ending in the end, although obviously happy is kind of, maybe not quite happy with all the trauma, but kind of, yeah. But yeah, I thought the Hunger Games was pretty, hit the nail on the head with that question. So yeah, my thinking with the ending is Mockingjay. Yes. I know obviously we have Ballad and Sunrise, but because they are technically prequels, I'm not counting those as like a bittersweet ending. I'm counting those as, you know, the first 2 books and then the original trilogy. So yeah, definitely a bittersweet series. But ultimately satisfying. I forgot about that bit. Because I liked the ending, you know. I liked who, you know, Katniss ends up with, and, you know, the way it ended, and apart from obviously some bits obviously not happy about, but as a whole, you know, satisfying. So that is all of my questions. Well, answers to the questions. Thank you, Kelley, for tagging me in this. I enjoyed doing it again. I don't think I repeated any from my last video, which is good. Or maybe just one. I might have done The Hobbit or Narnia, depending on when I did the video. I can't remember if I had Narnia by then. But yeah. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I know we typically tag people, and I'm not sure who to tag. Obviously it is open to anyone and everyone who wants to do it. If you do have a channel, I'd love to see you do it. Is there anyone I want to tag? I think Lucy's already done it, so I'm not going to tag you, Lucy. And it's quite a popular one, so I'm going to assume that you've at least got it in your little tag jar, whatever you call it. I can't remember what you call it. I might not tag anyone, and I'll just leave it open. If you're watching this and you would like to do this tag, please do, and tag me in it. And yeah, if you don't have a channel that you know, upload on, I'd love to know 2 things. One, I'd love to know any indie authors you'd like to shout out. I'd love to learn about more of them, either by ones I've already heard of or even new ones to check out. That would be cool. And also I want to know what book you were expecting more from. I'd love to know about that as well. But obviously any of the other questions you want to answer in the comments, please do as well. I'd love to know your answers to all of them, really. And obviously I'll put questions in the description down below. So yes, thank you so much for watching. Sorry, distracted. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below, either answering the questions, or if you don't know what to comment, please leave an emoji down below. Either maybe a hot drink, like a coffee type hot drink or whatever, or a book, like a pile of books, whichever, or even both. You know, if you're not sure what to write. And yes, I will leave you all to it. Thank you so much for watching. God bless. I love you all. And I will see you all next week. Bye.